On August 5, 2024, an EF1 tornado struck the west side of Buffalo, New York, causing significant damage. The tornado appeared suddenly and swept through the city center, leaving a scene of devastation in its wake. The tornado swept through buildings with extremely strong winds, sending dust and debris flying. Roofs were blown off, windows shattered, and parts of buildings were damaged or collapsed completely. Billboards and other overhead objects were blown away, creating a scene of horror and chaos. The tornado's powerful winds sent dust and debris flying, covering the entire area in a thick blanket of dust. This not only made breathing difficult, but also reduced visibility, making people feel like they were trapped in a giant dust storm.
Windows up! We're in it! We're in it! We're in it!
Strong winds blew dust and debris, creating clouds of dust on the streets, severely affecting traffic. Vehicles had difficulty moving. Many vehicles were overturned. The streets became dangerous and difficult to travel.
I've never seen a tornado. Oh my God!
Which had stood for decades reaching the sky, now lay tilted, their roots exposed. A hungry monster, tearing at their lush green bark, leaving the leaves that had once swayed in the wind now in scattered fragments. The tree stumps, once the solid support for the life of an entire ecosystem, were now like the remains of a fierce war, submerged in rubble and dust. Sadness filled the air, filling the space between the broken trunks and the torn earth. The scene was not only a mark of devastation, but also a stark reminder of the indomitable power of nature. People face moments of panic and fear when a tornado hits. Feelings of helplessness and panic when seeing the devastation caused by nature are inevitable. Many people feel shocked and saddened when losing their homes and properties, while others are lucky enough to escape death but still suffer from severe psychological trauma. As they moved on, they left behind scenes of unimaginable devastation. Houses were torn apart, roofs scattered like pieces of a shattered puzzle. Streets were a mess of rubble, fallen trees, and personal belongings thrown away in the chaos. The people, with extraordinary resilience and endurance, faced the devastating aftermath of the tornado. They cleaned up the rubble, repaired damaged roofs, and tried to restore the peace they once had. Every step they took was heavy. Every breath carried fatigue and anxiety. But in the midst of such hardship, they did not lose faith. With solidarity and determination, they gradually rebuilt their lives, proving that while nature can destroy, the power of human recovery is limitless. The Kumamoto earthquakes that occurred on April 14 and 16, 2016 in Kumamoto Prefecture, Japan, were among the deadliest earthquakes in recent Japanese history. The first earthquake, measuring 6.2 on the Richter scale, occurred on the night of April 14th, and the second, measuring 7.0 on the Richter scale, occurred on April 16th. The epicenter of the earthquake was near Kumamoto City and caused severe damage to the surrounding area. Buildings, infrastructure, and historical sites were destroyed or severely damaged. Kumamoto City and surrounding areas saw many buildings collapse, roads cracked, and power and water supply systems were disrupted. When the earthquake struck, the entire city seemed to be caught in the fury of nature. The powerful tremors caused the tall buildings, which once proudly rose to the sky, to collapse like giant beasts. Blocks of concrete and steel fell like fragments of a collapsing world. The roads that were the lifeblood of the city were suddenly deformed, with cracks and deep holes opening like giant wounds. The mountains surrounding the city, once symbols of stability, were not spared from the devastation. Rocks and soil began to roll down from the slopes, taking everything in their path, creating huge piles of rubble. The once peaceful areas were now chaotic scenes where earth and rock prevailed, and the air was filled with the smell of destruction. The horror was beyond words, as the solidity of the structures and the beauty of nature were all brought down by the unstoppable fury. More than 50 people were killed, and thousands more were injured. The earthquake also resulted in the displacement of thousands of people from their homes. Rescue and recovery efforts after the earthquake were hampered by the extensive devastation and constant aftershocks. The response from the Japanese government and international aid organizations was swift, with the aim of assisting those affected and restoring basic services. The Kumamoto earthquake highlighted the need for disaster preparedness and emergency response capabilities in a country that regularly faces the risk of earthquakes. When the earthquake struck, homes, once symbols of safety and stability, were reduced to rubble. Tall buildings that had once towered proudly into the sky were now like subdued giants. Concrete walls cracked, and chunks of brick and glass fell, creating vast piles of rubble. Roofs collapsed, and pillars fell like rotten logs, leaving vast voids where cozy rooms had once been. Walls were broken open, exposing interiors, with furniture scattered and mixed with the debris of the collapse. Survivors began to band together and share resources, trying to help each other in the emergency. They worked together to clear the rubble, using rudimentary tools to rescue trapped people and providing basic first aid to the injured. The resilience and solidarity of the community was evident as people came together to organize relief gathering points, distribute food and water, and set up makeshift medical stations. Immediately after the earthquake, rescue forces from Japanese government agencies and the military were dispatched to the affected areas. They conducted rescue operations, searched for trapped people, and evacuated people from dangerous areas. Efforts to restore normal life have become a constant battle. Relief organizations and local governments have quickly deployed emergency response measures, helped rebuild infrastructure, and provided long-term support to those affected. Despite the pain and hardship, people have shown great strength and determination to recover and rebuild their lives.